I'm P. Moses, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastards.
This ain't what you want, boy. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want, boy. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
All right, today we got P. Moses jumping off the porch with us today.
What's up?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
For sure. You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
I'm glad to be here. I love Atlanta.
For sure. So tell us what you out here working on in Atlanta.
I'm working on a lot of things. I'm actually completing my debut album, Straight from the Heart, and I'm finishing it up. I also got some legal matters that I'm talking to one of my attorneys about, and just spreading good energy wherever I go. That's what I like to do.
For sure. So you're from Memphis, right?
Memphis, Tennessee.
What part of the city are you from?
I'm from North Memphis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't born in Memphis, but I've been in North Memphis predominantly most of my life. I went to high school and middle school there, and so I'm from North, Jackson and Hollywood to be exact.
That's fine. So how would you describe your childhood growing up?
Growing up as a child, well, my parents divorced at 5, so that was pretty traumatic, but as an adolescent, I would say it was hard, you know, as a black person coming from a affluent family, and, you know, people would try you for certain things, but, you know, I got through it. I got through it.
For sure. When would you say you jumped off the porch?
Man, I am the porch.
Yeah.
No, but for real, I would say, you know, I can't put an age on it because I kind of jumped off a couple times and went back and then jumped off for good at a certain age, but I'd probably say about 16. That's what I would consider jumping off the porch. I, you know, got in a lot of trouble as an adolescent in school and stuff for different things, trying to defend myself, you know, because there's a lot of bullying and things when your intellectual capacity is higher than most people. They think because you're intellectual that you won't bust their head, and I'm the different from that. So I would say about 16, I started going to clubs and stuff. That's how I kind of really got into music. I committed my first Grand Theft Auto at 16 to go to the club to hear 8-Ball and MJG play. So that's how serious it was to me at that time.
For sure. What did you go to college for?
I went to college. Originally, I was going to try to be a lawyer, but then I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I got my degree in political science from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. And that would probably be another porch, I guess, thing, because that's when I got introduced to the streets. Even though I'm from Memphis, Knoxville is like way gutter, in my opinion, to what I was exposed to in Memphis, because I was somewhat sheltered from what I was around or what I did. But when I got to Knoxville, I was really in the streets as a college student. And so I got my degree in political science, and I got my minor in African studies. So that's where I start learning more about who I was as a person and embracing being black, you know?
For sure.
And that's what happened in Knoxville.
Talk to us about being falsely arrested.
Falsely arrested? Well, being falsely arrested is one of the most traumatic things that a person can endure, especially when you know you didn't do something, but it doesn't matter that you didn't do it because the system in which is prosecuting you, they hold all the cards. So it becomes like a psychological game that they play with you, and weak people can, you know, succumb to that kind of shit. You know, I've been falsely arrested within the last probably 10 years, at least probably 5 times. You know, I didn't do nothing, just go get that nigga, you know, that type of shit. And it's just very hard, and it weigh on you. And that's one reason why my music kind of took a back burner, because I had to focus on freedom, you know. And that's why, you know, I'll like this, because I want people to know when they see me that, yeah, you have rappers that come here and they talk that shit, but until you've had the police take your ass somewhere and take you for a ride and bust your head and put you in jail under fictitious names where people that know you can't even find you, until you've did that kind of living, you really don't know what oppression is. And so that's what I would equate it to be. False imprisonment is slavery all over again, but just in a different time frame. It's slavery.
For sure. So with all that being said, the studies in African science, falsely arrested, talk to us about finding Black Lives Matter Memphis.
Well, that happened like on my third time I got falsely imprisoned. I got arrested, I don't even know what that time, because it's been so many, but I got arrested for something and I was in the jail. And you can't watch what you want to watch in jail. It's one TV, and I was looking on the news, and I saw Oakland. It was like 12 or 13 people. They shut a highway down, and I was like, Memphis needs some shit like that. Memphis needs somebody to shut a highway down. And so when I got out, you know, I connected with lots of people online, and it started out as a hashtag. Everybody was saying Black Lives Matter. It was a hashtag. It kind of came after Trayvon Martin, when we really put a lot of pressure on them by calling the DA and forcing them to charge George Zimmerman. That was real grassroots activism that forced that to happen, because it wasn't going to happen. We called the phone like 100 times a day. So those same people that we connected with hashtagging, like they were like, we're creating a movement. And so I was like, yeah, we need that. And I decided to found Black Lives Matter Memphis, and it was younger students and college students who basically came and, you know, reached out that wanted to participate in it. And I was kind of honored by that, because I feel like with the rap world, it's so fluttered with bullshit, and this gave rappers, artists, musicians, different people an opportunity to basically come together and activate for a real cause, as opposed to just going to the club and kicking it. And so that was one reason why I had founded it, because I wanted to give younger people and younger artists a voice, which was something that we were lacking, not just in the world, but even in music. Like there's a lacking of real artists that you hear.
For sure. So do you feel some rappers use their platform for political change?
Some do, and then some are ignorant. You know, they have a platform, so they just want to use it for whatever. Like, I was listening to Nicki Minaj had tapped in on the vaccine, and I was just like, why is she even speaking about that? You know, not saying she shouldn't speak about that, but when you have a platform, you got to be informed before you just go saying shit, because you'll say the wrong thing. You know, I'm not saying I'm for or against vaccination. I'm just saying, know what the fuck you talking about before you open your mouth, because you could be like the baby and you say something that offend people. You know what I'm saying? And we all do that as artists, but I think that if you want to step into politics, and because see, I'm an expert, not by, you know, just saying that. I'm an expert in politics. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, so I studied it before I learned it, and then once I learned it, I understood the process of it. So when I speak on political things, it's usually from being a matter-of-fact standpoint, not just talking. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest life lesson you learned so far?
In politics or
In
just
life.
in life? Man, believe in people who believe in you. I say that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, because sometimes we go through life and we meet different people, and because that person ain't got on the new J's, or because that person ain't iced out, you know, we just don't really want to hear what they're saying, because they don't fit the stereotype of what you think is important, and you'll miss out on huge, you know, opportunities just because you didn't believe in someone who believed in you. Because like you know, going back to when I was in college, I was literally living in one of my friend's housing projects. It was called the Ville, and this Delta, God bless Matoya Davis, she's dead now. She hooked me up. She knew that I could rap. Rapping is something I kind of do for a hobby. I'm not gonna say it's not something I love, but it's something that I've always been good at. Like since I was little, my mother actually taught me how to rap. But she knew that I was good at rapping in college, so she introduced me to this guy. And, you know, I was looking at her like, why in the world would you introduce me to somebody like this? But I continued to talk to that person, and I developed a friendship. Make a long story short, that person sat right in my car, and one day we were freestyling to Outkast's Elevators. And that tell you how old I am if you know that song. And so we was freestyling to Elevators, and he made me go first. And so after I went, then he rapped a song about, that's my baby mama, I can always hit that. And so, you know, in my mind, when I finished, he was like, that's nice, you really are good, you know? And then when I heard what he said, I was like, that's uncouth. Like, why would you say some shit like that? You know, I judged him when he was complimenting me, but we ended up having a really good friendship. That person was DMX, my first love. You understand what I'm saying? And it was weird because everything he did, you know, now you see he's dead now, everything he did, he told me he was gonna do before he was gonna do it. He didn't have any of the stuff that he had. And we talking about pre-Aaliyah, pre all of that. We talking about right on the cusp of about to make it. And the person who complimented me, I was just like, kind of like, that nigga, you ain't finna do this. And so I would say, and other people, Johnny Cochran offered me a job like at 16. When I was in Memphis, I met him at the Black Congressional Caucus. I've met a lot of people who saw greatness in me and I didn't see it in myself. So I would say the biggest life lesson is that you should believe in people who believe in you regardless of what their current situation is. They might be on crack, they might be doing whatever, but that little bit of encouragement could be enough to make you detour and do something else. Because see, I chose to go on and go to school and not go to New York and do what they were doing at the time, because I'm in college, so it was like far-fetched. I'm not leaving school to go rap. What kind of shit does that make? That sounds like a failed opportunity about to happen. And so I would just say that's probably the biggest life lesson.
For sure. How was it like dating DMX before he was DMX?
Well, I wouldn't even consider it dating because we were like friends, like, you know, like, I wouldn't consider, like, we went to the fair and that was an experience that he cussed the man out about a bear. But it was like a roller coaster, like constant craziness, but I always felt safe, whether we was in a trap house or at the fair, at the Waffle House. I always felt safe because it was something about his demeanor that, you know, nobody was gonna mess with him, and he wasn't even from Knoxville. Now, we in Knoxville. And, you know, I'm like, this nigga's from New York, and people just, they had a lot of respect for him. Maybe because they knew he was a rapper and he was, you know, maybe underground about the 96. I don't know how big he was then, but people would you go in the store and people be like, what's up? And I'm just like, I was that green that like, I didn't even realize that he was important, but he taught me so much stuff that just like I came here today, I go anywhere in the world by myself. I don't fear nothing. Because I've walked in lots of places, you know, that rough places. I done walked the Akiio projects at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? And I've never like felt a fear because, you know, God is with you wherever you go. And that was one thing that he would say to me. And I thought it was crazy because one minute, you know, you're smoking and you're all this rah-rah shit, and then next minute you want to pray. And that was his personality. That was not a facade, or you know how some people act one way. The God stuff, from the very first time I met him, the man was talking about God, and it was the weirdest shit because my grandfather's a preacher. And my mother, she's like what you call a holy roller or whatever. And like, I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not somebody that goes to church every Sunday like most people. But it was just like, wow, he really was into God like that. And to get to see it yourself, it's just humbling, you know?
For sure. So what would you say is the biggest obstacle you overcame so far in life?
The biggest obstacle? I don't know that I've overcome it because like I'm still facing charges for this voter fraud, and I don't know that I've reached the biggest obstacle in my life. Like I've had so many obstacles and I go over them like hurdles and stuff, but I don't know that I've actually reached the biggest obstacle. Like just living, just waking up each morning is a blessing. So I don't think I've reached that yet.
For sure.
I hope it don't get any worse, but I don't think I have. Everything I kind of go over, I go around, you know. I was late coming here, but I was coming, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel that. Talk to us about the inspiration behind This Ain't What You Want featuring Project Pat.
Well, that song, that's kind of my, because you know you got P. Moses and then you got the Pretty Pimp. Well, the Pretty Pimp stand for Positive, Intelligent, Motivating Person. P. Moses, that's my government name. So Memphis is a really like gutter city. Like Atlanta's gutter in a creative way, but Memphis is like, motherfuckers just don't want to see you win. Like, it ain't that they don't think you can win, they just don't want to see you win. And so I had asked Gotti to get on the song with me, and he was like, okay, I might do it, but it's gonna cost this. And I was just like, will you just please do it like for me? I've got Project Pat on it. And he just like got mad because I said I had Project Pat on a song that I wanted him to get on, but me, I'm like, kumbaya, I love everybody. I didn't know they had beef or past beef. I don't get into that, it don't make money. But I wanted, that's why you have two P. Moses verses. I wanted Gotti to be on the first verse. And so I was just like, fuck it, you know. He wouldn't do it, Pat did, and I thank him for doing that. I just decided that, shit, I'm gonna talk to everybody in Memphis that don't fuck with me in this song. Cause you think that you running this, you think you doing that, you think that you this and that, and this ain't what the fuck you want, you know? And my homegirl Worm, she used to always say that, like when we had a problem or something, and it was like something catchy that she would say when she pull it, this ain't what you want. And so like the catchphrase came from her, but the energy came from the rejection from all the other folks in Memphis that's been on and refused to put anybody else on, but the folks that suck their dicks and ride their coattails. I'm not that nigga, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I put all that energy in that. And Pat came with it, you know, he murdered it too, you know? And he's on that new song that they recently put out with Drake, Knife Talk.
Yeah.
That jump hard. I think that's the best song on his album. I mean, but that's just my opinion. Yeah.
Talk to us about No Problems.
No Problems. Well, I wrote that during the pandemic. That's a newer song. And, you know, I had so many people die just like, because I went to DMX's funeral, and something about from when the COVID began into that point, it's like, all these people keep dying, you know. They say it's COVID, you know, I guess it is, I don't know. But like, it was a lot of murders, the police was still killing us. And I was just like, God damn, you know, I just want to go on a beach somewhere and relax at this point. I don't want no motherfucking problems. And I said, I think everybody else can relate to that. Man, don't bring me no problems. Don't bring me no problems. I don't want any problems. Just bring me some money or something. Give me something other than a problem. Because every time the phone rings, it's a problem. It's a bill collector. It's a situation. And I had just got so frustrated over the COVID, I wanted to do something different. And we're going to shoot that video in Jamaica pretty soon. I'm waiting on Junior Reed to finish this other song that we did. And I just wanted to give people something that they could chill with. Because, you know, as a real artist, you can't make the same kind of music. Yeah. You know, that's why it's important that my album gets released soon, because you're not going to hear a song from this year. You're going to hear songs from when I started to when I finished, because I'm not the same person I was when I made This Ain't What You Want. I'm not even the same person when I made No Problems. I'm in my Never Fold phase. That's another song that's going to come out. That's on my album Never Fold. And I got my little cousin Muffin singing on it. And it's just basically like, no matter what happens, we have to continue to keep going, because we can't fold.
For
Because
sure.
if we do, you know, it's over. You know, we have to just keep pushing.
Absolutely. How important is motherhood to you?
It's very important. I was gonna bring my son, but he couldn't. My youngest son, he couldn't be out of school that much, and it's so important, because as a mother raising 2 black boys in America, it's like, you really are the Wakanda. You have to protect. Like, I protest not because somebody's paying me to do it or whatever. I protest because I look at my children. What if my son gets hemmed up? Wouldn't I want somebody to help me if I couldn't help them? So I just feel like as a mother, you have to protect the black man, because it's an extinct species at this point, especially real ones. And I raised some thoroughbreds. If they come from me, my seeds, they thorough. And so it's very important. I love my children.
For sure. What else are you working on right now?
Well, I'm working on some community projects in North Memphis. We're trying to basically reconstruct an area in which is near where I live called Hollywood. We're working on that, and we're gonna use local artists and national artists to create music murals. Basically, you got Hollywood in California, but welcome to Hollywood in Memphis. And so the music murals and things that we're gonna put in the community are gonna probably be the catalyst for the affordable housing and new business strips that we're going to put in our community. So that's what I'm working on far as from a community standpoint. I'm open to, I'm not looking to do features with people, but I want people to do features with me. Like, I want people that are working on good music to, you know, connect with me and connect the dots. And hopefully I got some new endorsements going with the Backpack Boys. I don't know if you know, they're a weed thing, and then the gorilla wear. You be sure to get your gorilla wear. We repping that AMC. If you ain't got your AMC stock, be sure to get some. You know.
For sure.
And so just different joint ventures, whatever. I'm just letting the spirit lead me at this point in my life.
Absolutely. Any last words and shout outs?
I shout out you. Thank you for being here. I mean, shout out to the whole Atlanta. No, not the whole Atlanta. Fuck that. The whole Atlanta don't fuck with me. Shout out to the people in Atlanta that do fuck with me. And, you know, wherever y'all are, you know, they do, because I see the analytics and stuff. And shout out to LIBK Records, you know, and all the people in Memphis that's gonna see this or wherever they're gonna see it. Y'all be sure to follow me at Pretty Pimp On Instagram. It's only one. If it's anybody else, they're an imposter. Yeah, just that, and I guess that's it.
For sure. Pretty Moses, we appreciate you having you today with us.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
This ain't what you want, bro. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you